race of the day. It takes us to Spa, and it's a Porsche Coanda 1 and 2. Joshua Rogers from Charlie Collins on the front row. The lights go out and we go racing. A short run towards turn number 1 here at La Source. It's always a pinch point on the apex. You've got to be very, very careful, and a short race ahead of us. Only 7 laps as they're 3 wide on the exit. Maximilian Benneker now trying to put some pressure onto Josh Rogers, but Charlie Collins potentially under pressure from Dennis Schoeniger and Yuri Kazdorp towards Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. Collins forced to concede there as Schoeniger works his way up now to make it a Maus 2 and 3.
Superb stuff, and Benneker here going on the defensive. Charlie Collins once again going on the attack. It's 3 wide in the background. Lerner going side by side with Caruso and Bellezzi-Otis. Let's see how they're going to unfold by the time they get themselves into Les Combes. Down with the brakes, almost contact on the rear end from Schoeniger into Collins, but Collins still remains in third, side by side behind that between Kazdorp and Blyer.
Yeah, good stuff there from Blyer, trying to really hit the ground running for Williams. It's not been the best of starts for them, as Schoeniger and Kazdorp have really been able to light the track on fire in the opening lap of this race. Rogers, though, doing a fantastic job as to consolidate that race lead. Collins, though, needs to recoup himself after what was a very hectic fight and start to apply the pressure to Benneker.
Yeah, look, this is impressive stuff for Porsche Coanda for Maus. Not so impressive for the Atlassian Williams Sim Racing team. A hero drive at the previous race, of course, at Monza, where they were able to throw themselves back into contention to, on the average of points, throw themselves back into effectively 5th place ahead of Vitality. This race, though, is looking not so great, almost a disaster.
Yeah, it's not really been too good of a start for Williams. It was a decent qualifying. The good news for them is they've got Blyer, Pajdo and Pfeffer in 6, 7 and 8, and with the slipstream around Spa, I mean, the Mercedes, they've said, is not too strong in a straight line, but with that slipstream assistance, they can actually find themselves through, especially if they can sort of freight train with each other and get onto the back of Kazdorp and Schoeniger, because if all 3 can clear both cars, they're going to be heaping a huge amount of points in this race. Their focus isn't so much about Coanda, it's about beating Maus as much as they can, and here's a run towards the bus stop chicane.
It's Blyer looking to the outside of Kazdorp. Kazdorp defending, they'll just brush a little bit over. Oh, there's a spin as well. Schoeniger's gone round. What has happened to Dennis Schoeniger? It's a disaster for Maus and all that, as Dom Blyer works his way past Kazdorp. Is he going to get freight trained?
That is huge for Williams and their chances of scoring points. Dennis Schoeniger, for his own volition, managed to spin round. Dominic Blyer, though, around the outside of La Source, able to catapult his Mercedes into 4th place. But now we continue this 2-kilometer ascent all the way to Les Combes. Tobias Pfeffer side by side, Jordan Caruso on his inside towards Eau Rouge and Radion. That is not the move you want to be making as we tick off the first lap of this race, and already carnage has unfolded. It is absolutely insane stuff here at Spa. Now the train begins uphill to Les Combes.
The top 3 have gone. They have checked out. It is now this battle as they're going to go 3 wide, potentially even 4 wide, as Maurice Lerner looks to the inside. He decides better of it, drops back in line behind and remains side by side with Jordan Caruso. A winner around here online, as Lerner will send it almost into the side of Pfeffer. They remain side by side through Malmedy.
Yeah, insane stuff. Downhill now in towards Rivage. Lerner has the inside, and with the off-camber nature of this long right-hander, it definitely favours to be on the inside. Lerner able to close that gap, but look at Caruso with the agility. Now has the inside line through No Name Corner, but still hanging his BMW the long way round. Moritz Lerner trying to salvage something after Schoeniger's spin as they now continue to descend towards Pouon. Lerner has the advantage. Kazdorp as well was able to find his way back through on Dominic Blyer to promote Maus to 2 and 4th.
And Dennis Schoeniger keeping Dane Warren at bay, 11th and 12th positions. We'll update you with the points in a few moments' time, but for Williams it goes slightly better for them. 5th, 6th, 7th certainly sounds a little bit better, and also with Dennis Schoeniger's issue there, I'm sure we'll catch that on the replay as to what happened. I'm almost thinking of maybe he tapped the rear end of Collins here, so Collins drives it in a little bit too deep, and yeah, Schoeniger just drives it in too deep as well.
Completely of his own volition. I mean, this corner in of itself is already too difficult, but just didn't quite get the braking enough. Slightly missed the apex as well going in, and that is just what spun him round. And there we can see Yuri Kazdorp clearing his teammate, and has now got a lot more pressure on him because, well, they're basically 1 extra man down. Bottom left of your screen, you can see Charlie Collins continuing to apply some pressure to Maximilian Benneker to maybe make this a 1-2 once more for Porsche Coanda. But again, when it comes to the points, the top 3 of the points after today go into the upper bracket of tomorrow. The key thing of today is to not be the bottom team total, because that means your time in the Esports World Cup of Rennsport R1 in 2025 is over.
On averages at the moment, based on this race, based on where we are, completely up to date. And the reason why we say averages is because some teams have completed 3 races, some teams have completed 2. BMW and Team Redline, Red Bull Sim Racing, they are the top. They're number one at the moment. Maus a second, Porsche Coanda a third on averages. Williams are fifth. It is still Vitality last with 23.3 points versus Atlassian Williams Sim Racing's 28.3. Either way, we've had the switch there, and Benneker has dropped back to third. Blyer, importantly though, for those averages, has come through on Kasdorp back to fourth.
Yeah, that's good. Not only does that take points off Maus, but it gains points for Williams, so it's actually a bigger point swing than it would normally be. Pastor and Pfeffer, though, need to close in to that red and white BMW of Yuri Kasdorp, apply some pressure to the Dutchman, and again make Williams' day just that little bit better. We've seen some good performances from Pastor and Pfeffer, but what do they need to really maximise this race?
Just got to keep your nose clean, got to keep yourself focused, got to move forward, got to... the thing is, I always say about playing the long game, you can't really do that at the moment. Blyer, though, I will say, fourth position is as good as it's really going to get. If he's going to get anything better than that, it would be because there is drama ahead. Collins, Rogers, Benneker, one of those spinning around, which is the lead battle that we're looking at the moment. That's the only way Blyer's going to gain something else. 2 seconds over 4 laps, just not something we really see gain. Big moment there for Benneker, though, who makes a costly mistake going through campus.
Yeah, not at all what you want to see, just a slight twitch of oversteer on the apex. That's going to offset him ever so slightly, allow the two Porsche drivers to break away. The gap now between Collins and Benneker, about 0.7 of a second. You're probably not looking far off that for the slipstream range, so it's important for Collins and Rogers now to break away and check out of this race. But more of those mistakes and losing the slipstream. We talked about Bly not being able to close that 2-second gap unless there's a miracle. Well, more mistakes like that and we could have Benneker dropping back into the pack.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, I said that there's no way that Blyer's going to catch, but you just never really know. As we head back, Lerner, Caruso, Belletsiotis here, the battle for 8th position at the moment. The red and white there of Maus ahead of the white, red and black of Caruso. Belletsiotis in the distinctive Atlassian Williams Sim Racing blue. We can see Yuri Kasdorp there on the in-game, or sorry, the in-studio feed there on the right-hand side. There's Joshua Rogers, your race leader as well. Doesn't even look bothered, does it?
Nah,
He almost looks actually kind of a little irritated.
He's like, come on guys, can we just score the points and get on with this already? I mean, Joshua Rogers is one of the most calm, cool, collected drivers you will ever see. Jordan Caruso, though, with a fantastic run off of Eau Rouge and Radion, already looking to go to the inside of the Kemmel King as we make our way to a replay. Bottom left of your screen is live picture. This is side by side. I think this was Dominic Bly working his way back through on the number 4 of Yuri Kasdorp. A pretty easy switch back to live action. Jordan Caruso on the inside of Lecom. Outside line though, as Moritz Lerner tries to hang on. It's then the inside for the Porsche through Malmedy, but the agility of that BMW, very impressive.
Yeah, indeed. Bit of a moment as well behind as Belletsiotis and trying to come toe to toe. Straight to the outside comes Jordan Caruso. We ride on board with Caruso in the top right of your screen. A little bit more door banging. Fantastic side-by-side racing as they head their way through No Name down towards Pouon once more and dropping back to single file. Great racing. I hope James Baldwin is on the analyst desk after this. After all, he does have some racing experience here at the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps. He's been in the Spa 24 Hour twice.
And he's also DNF from one of them as well. He's finished
not
the
both?
what's that?
Was it not both?
No, it was one.
Oh,
He
wow.
finished last year. A few laps down, but he did finish. He's finished the same amount of broadcasts at Spa as he has races. Nonetheless, over half the way through of this race, Jordan Caruso ahead of Moritz Lerner. Fantastic battle between the pair of them. It's Rogers that leads Collins and Benneker, the top 3. From Dominic Blyer and Yuri Kasdorp, the top 5. Williams still need a couple more points just to feel a little bit more comfortable against Team Vitality. Their last race is the final race of the day when we take to Hockenheim against Virtus.pro and Team Maus. Now, it's not a guarantee that they're going to do well, but it does seem to be pretty strong for that final race. So Williams, while they've got the opportunity, really needs to capitalise. Pajtor on the back of Yuri Kasdorp.
The overwhelming disappointment when it's definitely not James Baldwin on that analyst desk. I know it's not already. It's fine, but you've got to make the joke every now and then. It's fine. 1-2 still for Porsche, and they're very close. They've pulled away from Benneker. I'm sure it will remain a 1-2 for Porsche all the way to the line. Side by side in the background between Lerner and Warren, though, and in what could be an important final point. Who knows? By the end of the day, Warren to the outside as he's trying to squeeze his way straight around the outside of Moritz Lerner. They remain side by side as they drive their way down the hill, beginning the this 2-kilometre run to Les Combes.
Yeah, uphill as well. The BMW, of course, usually quite quick in a straight line, but having to back out through Rouge and Radion, getting as close to the rear end of the Porsche as possible, which historically is pretty decent at Spa. That mid-rear engine, the flat six, able to give it the acceleration it needs around the circuit. How good is it, though, when it's got a BMW tucked in the slipstream? Now pulling out to the right-hand side, though, is Moritz Lerner, as he tries to attack Dane Warren for the final point of this race. Every little helps, and the outside line for the Porsche. Dane Warren hangs on to 11th place.
Yeah, indeed. Whoa, big slide there from Dane Warren. My goodness me, how did he keep that one pointed in the right direction? As once again, Lerner looks to the inside. They might be fighting for the wooden spoon here, but they're fighting hard for it. Well, really, I guess not to have it, but still, they are definitely fighting hard at the back end of the field there, Warren and Lerner, as we head back up to Caruso in 9th.
Yeah, good stuff. And, well, I mean, when it comes to racing drivers, it may only be a point, but that point will matter. These racing drivers will chase, minuscule amounts. I mean, even to the point where some of them brush their teeth in the shower to save some time, and that translates onto the racetrack. Dane Warren searching for just that extra point on lap 5 of 7. Still 2.5 laps left to go in this race, and still commanding the race up in front, Rogers and Collins. Beneker, of course, just conceding that place, thinking better to just save that 3rd place, because, I mean, realistically, the battle for demotion is between Vitality and between Williams. That's very wide there on the back end. That's Dennis Schoeniger running wide off the exit of Stavelot too. Realistically, though, Mauser, I mean, not safe, but relatively safe. They don't need to take too many risks.
No, certainly not, as we'll ride on board with Daniel Pagedor. Could get squeezed here, and he does get squeezed. Just a touch, my goodness. Just trying to find his way past Yuri Kastorp, and a squeeze going down into the bus stop. It's one of those ones, like if a car's there, you've got to give the space.
Yeah, right, exactly. A car's width. I mean, you can get away with maybe 0.9 of a car's width if you're really brave, but you've always got to give the space. But equally, these drivers don't want to leave anything on the table. Yuri Kastorp doing God's work is to keep Pagedor and Pfeffer behind. But this is where that teamwork really needs to play into a factor. Pfeffer, when the two in front of him, Pagedor and Kastorp, go side by side, naturally they're going to be slightly slower on the exit. That's where Pfeffer needs to use that backwards momentum to give his teammate a bit of a push, especially right now on the run to Les Combes.
Yuri Kastorp's doing a great job at the moment in 5th position, just trying to hang on. I think they might switch behind Pfeffer ahead of Pagedor just to try and give that final lap a little bit of a run. Look at that battling in the background, though, as Beletsiotis tries to keep Caruso at bay. Into Les Combes they go. It is still, of course, Kastorp, but now ahead of Pfeffer and Pagedor. Schoeniger dropping down the order. He's going side by side now with Warren. He was trying with Caruso. He's slightly off the road. Warren's come through. 10th spot for him.
Nice stuff there from Dane Warren, picking up just an extra point there, but like we say, they're chasing very fine margins. Schoeniger, though, after his spin, doing well now to pick up just a single point for Maus Esports. Tobias Pfeffer now leads the charge for Williams. Pagedor conceded that position, let his teammate have a go. They're in a good position here. Maybe what they need is Blythe just to back up. I don't think Beneker is overly realistic for them to go and catch unless he makes another mistake. Potentially they could prioritise getting Pfeffer and Pagedor through on Kastorp and try and capitalise on a couple more points.
Yeah, certainly so. We ride on board now with Pfeffer as he's battling Kastorp, not quite close enough. He'll have a chance on the final lap. That's the important bit, right? Because we're about to head on to it at the end of this one. This is the 6th of 7. He's got that run into Les Combes. He's got the, obviously the run down the hill, and he'll have the run to the bus stop on the final lap to try and work his way past for what could be, again, some very important points. I know Vitality aren't racing until the last race of the day, and they're the ones that are really fighting with them over that final spot. But still, it could be very important. Here we go, Zach.
Yeah, here we go. Outside line once again. He's going to be given a squeeze. There's not a car's width there. Yuri Kastorp giving him just as little room as possible, and he's muscled him off the road. Both of them go off. And now what can Daniel Pagedor do to get involved? They rejoin side by side. One more tour of the circuit de Spa-Francorchamps to go. 7.004 kilometers left of this race, and once again Tobias Pfeffer trying to put some pressure on the BMW to turn 1.
It's getting a little handbags at dawn at the moment between these two as they fight their way over, as Atlassian and Williams Sim Racing desperate to try and score as many points. They'd be outscoring Vitality comfortably, by the way, at the moment. Both obviously completing 3 races. Williams would be on 90 points by my math, Vitality on 70, mostly courtesy of a whopping 13 penalty points. Either way, here comes Pfeffer to try and take over that spot from Kastorp, and he's dragged his teammate with it.
Look at that teamwork. Daniel Pagedor take a bow, giving him the bump draft, and maybe both of them are going to go through. Tobias Pfeffer, Pagedor, patience is a virtue, and podium mentality has paid off. They work their way through. Williams now 4th, 5th and 6th. One more tour of Spa to go, and if they don't pick up any penalty points, this could be huge for their chances in the World Cup.
And it's gone bad, by the way, for Mouse. I've been informed that Yuri Kasdorp will have a 5-second time penalty for track limits as well. So he's exceeded the track too many times here at Spa, and it could come a cropper for him. That would drop him down to last, costing vital points for Mouse.
Yeah, it would be indeed. At the moment, that's going to drop him Caruso, and Blitziotis is going to drop him maybe even outside the points at this rate, and that is going to spell disaster for Mouse. Joshua Rogers, though, you have to give credit to Porsche Coanda. They came into this event as the favourites. They continue sector after sector to show that on the track.
Indeed, here we go into that final sector. They go through campus. Rogers leads. It's going to be a comfortable win for the driver who's won so many times around the circuit, Spa-Francorchamps, and counter to how Porsche Coanda were in that first race, where it wasn't so convincing against Redline. I know they're not against Redline here, but Mouse and Williams, they're still good teams, and they have been very, very convincing here.
Consistency is one of the most important attributes in motorsport, and Porsche Coanda have got it in bucket loads. Joshua Rogers and Charlie Collins, the two stars of the EWC Online season, and they continue that into LAN, out of the final chicane, and they bring it home. 1 and 2, Porsche Coanda Esports Racing Team take a bow. Joshua Rogers, 18 victories around the legendary circuit this Spa-Francorchamps. Charlie Collins joins him on the podium, and Maximilian Benneker will complete the podium. And well, that was an important race, but a calm, cool, collected one for Josh Rogers.
Certainly so. Yet another victory. I mean, look, you can't stop him. He knows how to win, and he adds yet another victory. I think it's 44th now in total in R1. He's
bad.
It's not bad indeed. Maybe he'll get to 50 by the end of the week.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, he's definitely got